In 1934, American life was defined by the bleakest depths of the Great Depression. Outside, the reality was breadlines and economic stagnation. Inside, Hollywood offered a distraction. It provided standard, glamorous escapism, but its stories had become as predictable as the poverty outside. On-screen marriage, in particular, was trapped in a rut. Cinematic couples were typically shown as stale and domestic, or burdened by heavy tragedy. Detective stories followed a similar pattern. Crime-solving was treated as a gritty, heavy burden, usually handled by solitary, hardened men. In May, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer released a modest detective film that ignored both of those conventions. It arrived without much fanfare, yet it changed the rules for how romance and mystery could coexist on screen. That film was The Thin Man. Directed by W.S. Van Dyke, it introduced audiences to a world where solving a murder was not a chore, but an absolute romp. This shift was driven by the casting of William Powell and Myrna Loy as Nick and Nora Charles. Powell played Nick, a retired detective with a sharp eye for clues and an even sharper preference for a well-mixed drink. Loy played Nora, an heiress who was just as quick-witted and independent as her husband. Unlike the cinematic couples that came before them, Nick and Nora were glamorous, fiercely independent, and operated as strict equals. They proved to moviegoers that matrimony did not mean the end of adventure or mutual adoration. Matrimony could be the source of the fun. The film was an adaptation of Dashiell Hammett's hard-boiled detective novel, which was significantly darker and grittier than the movie that reached theaters. Screenwriters Albert Hackett and Francis Goodrich deliberately softened the novel's edges, stripping away the gloom of the book. This allowed them to center the story on the couple's legendary martini-fueled banter, turning a murder investigation into a high-society social event. Director W.S. Van Dyke, nicknamed One-Shot Woody, kept energy high by refusing to let actors over-rehearse. He wanted the performance to feel immediate. This spontaneous approach allowed Powell and Loy to deliver their lines with a fresh, sparkling rhythm that helped define the screwball comedy era. The film balanced a dark, twisted murder plot with eccentric supporting characters and high-society humor. It also utilized the comedic animal sidekick, featuring the scene-stealing antics of the couple's wire fox terrier, Asta. Most notably, it popularized the climactic dinner party, where every eccentric suspect is gathered in one room for the final reveal. By combining these elements, the film established a set of storytelling devices that mystery writers would lean on for the next century. The box office response was massive. Audiences in 1934 were hungry for sophisticated adult entertainment that didn't take itself too seriously. The film earned 4 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, and instantly made William Powell and Myrna Loy top-tier stars. Its commercial success led to 5 theatrical sequels over the next 13 years, as MGM realized the audience's appetite for Nick and Nora was nearly limitless. These devices soon spread beyond the theater. The template of the bantering detective duo and the ensemble suspect reveal became staples of radio plays, and eventually the standard model for television mysteries. Decades later, the legacy of Nick and Nora Charles remains visible in every bantering detective duo that followed. The Thin Man stands as a definitive example of classic Hollywood style and cinematic joy. This was brought to you by Stalzer Circle. Thank you for listening.